What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the Canadian wildfires. Now, I don't typically cover much current news or current events on this channel, but something has been happening recently that is very unusual, and it's that Canada is all over the United States news and media, and I'm very, very sad to say that it's for something very horrific and very bad. Although I did find it amusing that the American media finally just started to cover this story. I think basically after the wildfires and particularly the smoke started to affect the United States, then suddenly we started to care about this whole thing, and I actually saw it on social media. I saw it on parts of the news, whereas I usually don't even follow a lot of that stuff, to be honest. So I always say if a news story reaches me, of all people, that means like America is really, really covering it. So this is big, big news. Mostly because of a lot of images that have come out of New York City with this crazy fog going on. And I just have a whole bunch of questions about this whole situation. And first and foremost, I feel like I have to make it clear that my thoughts and my heart and my sympathy goes out to any Canadians or anyone out there, especially Canadians who are affected by this whole situation. My sympathy really goes out to you, and I hope everything turns out as okay as it can, I'll say. So some of my questions about this whole debacle is, how commonly does this occur in Canada? Where is this happening? How do the wildfires start? I mean, I'm a little embarrassed to say I don't know much about wildfires. It's not typically something we hear about. Why are they happening? Is this something that's going to continue? How bad is the damage? How much are people being affected by this? And what's the outlook for the future? I have a lot of questions about the Canadian wildfires. So I thought it'd be very interesting to go through some of the news that is being shared very recently about Canada and the wildfires. This was from 2 days ago by the CBC. Canada could see historic wildfire devastation. Yes, Canada could see historic wildfire devastation. That is happening. That is happening right now. They called that one. That's by the CDC 2 days ago. See what they have to say.
Officials say this season has already brought some of the most dramatic wildfires Canadians have ever seen.
Oh my God. Look at this. I don't know who's operating. Maybe the news are the ones filming this, obviously, but looks like a literal raging inferno right outside of the car. I've never seen anything like this.
Even worse.
Every province.
Now a new warning. This summer could get even worse.
Could get even worse? It's not good. It's not good.
Every province and territory will need to be on high alert.
Every province and territory? I had heard this is mostly in Quebec. Even I have heard that. Is this really, are forest fires and wildfires a threat all throughout Canada? Or there's parts of Canada that are so cold? Or I think wildfires, pulling from my very rudimentary understanding, has to do with summers or climates that are extremely dry? I'm still not exactly sure how the fire starts, though.
Smoke from Quebec hung over Parliament Hill. Justin Trudeau and his ministers delivered what they called a sobering national update.
There have been 2,214 wildfires nationally.
2,000! This is what I'm talking about. Unless these all happened in the last 2 days, this is not a story that's been covered by the American media to any real extent. So it's shocking to me to hear that there's been 2,000 of these. It's horrible.
So far this year, and approximately 3.3 million hectares have been burned.
3.3 million hectares is an area larger than Vancouver Island and 13 times higher than the 10-year average at this time of year.
13. So this is abnormal. This is abnormal. This is 13 times higher than the average for the last 10 years. This is unusual, and that honestly makes sense. There seems to be much more of a deal made out of this. My other question now is, who is this affecting? Has anyone died because of this? Has anyone been hurt? Or are people just suffering slowly because of smoke inhalation and secondary effects like that?
This is a scary time for a lot of people, not just in Alberta, but right across the country.
New federal data show more than 400 active fires across the country.
What on earth? Okay, so it's not even close to just being in Quebec. Not even close. It is literally all over Canada.
And project warm and dry conditions in June, putting land from BC all the way to western Quebec at risk until the end of August.
Wow, and the terrifying thing is, like, these are large patches of dry earth and dry forest, I think. If I understand anything, there's not a whole lot you can do to combat naturally occurring forest fires. Like, what is the defense? What do you do to stop it? Prevent it, I should say. And what do you do to stop it? That's a good question, too. Throw a bucket of water on it?
It is expected that we have enough resources to cover the summer. If things get worse, we're developing contingency plans.
Those plans could include more international support. 950 international firefighters are already here.
That's great. That's great to see. And I have seen some reports of some American firefighters or volunteers trying to help out with the whole situation, and that makes me feel a bit proud to be an American if we're chipping in, which I believe we are.
That need to be taken down. And
Canadian Armed Forces are also deployed to 3 provinces. The official opposition said it will throw its support behind whatever the government does to help.
We would be open to studying any solutions that will help the country better coordinate its water bombers and other assets.
I was about to say, coordinate, the efforts to coordinate the solutions. What are the solutions? He kind of said it there. Dumping giant bombs of water on top of it. Funny enough, that is how you combat this sort of thing.
The government's urging Canadians to take extreme care this summer in forested areas to avoid starting fires in the first place and help keep these stark projections from becoming a reality.
Wait, have some of these fires been caused by, careless, fire starting? By people? Humans are out there starting some of these? That's horrible. I thought, I was hoping most of this was, I'm hoping none of this ever existed, but since it does exist, I was hoping it was all, naturally occurring somehow. I guess it's inevitable that in some places, if people are camping or just being careless, that can happen. If they're trying to juggle their set of torches, juggle their lighters. Okay. Next we have wildfire smoke blankets much of Canada, raising health risks. This is also from 2 days ago. Blankets Canada, that's the other thing, huh? Even if you're not, physically roasting to death, like a roasted duck in the fires themselves, you might just be breathing in really, really dangerous smoke, which is something I would like to learn more about. So here we go.
The sky in Montreal looked gloomy, all thanks to smoke from more than 150 forest fires still raging elsewhere in Quebec.
150 different fires. Look at this. It's scary when you see it, especially for someone like me who hasn't really seen this before.
Including Val d'Or, 500 kilometers northwest, where evacuations began over the weekend, and fumes are inescapable.
People are evacuating? People are having to leave where they live. It's so bad.
All over the place. You go outside, you smell it. It's even with just opening a window for a few seconds.
Wow.
Across the country, multiple regions are now facing air quality statements, some far beyond the wildfire zones.
Right. I saw the other day people are getting alerts on their iPhone saying air quality is not great. And people are I didn't even know my phone could give me an alert like that. The air quality isn't good? It's scary.
In Toronto, a haze hung over the downtown core.
We know that wildfire smoke causes widespread inflammation.
This physician says it's all made up of pollutants, which can become more harmful to human health the more you're exposed.
So people who work outside, people who are experiencing homelessness and spending a lot of time outdoors, the risks to those folks will be higher.
Yeah, there's some people, and they show people out jogging and bicycling in this. Gotta get your workout in. Doesn't matter if the world is burning down. But seriously, this affects some people more than others who have no choice. Like, not everyone, I would say most people don't have the option to just get up and quit their job or not go to their job or leave where they live. It's simply not an option. And it's even worse for people who don't have a home or have to work outside. This is just bad. Not that you needed me to tell you that.
Environment Canada says people with heart or lung disease, asthma, pregnant individuals, and both children and seniors are also at high risk, even from small amounts of smoke.
It can go all the way down into our lungs and not only cause topical irritation through all of our respiratory linings, but actually cross over into our bloodstream.
Like, it's bad enough that huge sections of Canada are burning down into nothing, but then there's the whole smoke issue. Like, that's literally poisoning entire populations.
A research team studied a bad wildfire season in Canada's north and found a rise in hospital visits linked to asthma, pneumonia, and COPD.
You may want to shelter in place because you don't want to get out there and be breathing in more terrible air.
What a strange time. What a strange time. Where you're like, oh, I don't know if I should go outside to get the groceries because I might get poisoned. Like, what a strange...
And doctors say if you have to go outside in the smog, consider wearing something you might still have at home. A well-fitting N95 mask.
There you
Lauren
go.
Pelly, CBC News.
There you go. Whip out the... Dust off the old mask. There you go. And also I have here... this is from, 18 hours ago, right now. Over 400 wildfires burning across Canada. 400! Half out of control. I just wasn't aware of the quantity. That there's so many wildfires. Like, the American news, I'm going to check a little bit about that at the end of this video. Doesn't do a great job of explaining what's going on. It's more of like, America's getting poisoned with all this smoke, angry. So I'm enjoying actually learning the why and, sympathizing with a lot of these stories, honestly.
A safe arrival after a long overnight trip. More than 7,000 people from the community of Chibougamau were forced to leave to escape a dangerous fire.
Oh, they had to leave Chibougamau. There's a name for you, Chibougamau. Anyway, they had to literally leave their home because it was, by the sound of it, not just smoke, but burning.
Réjean Laure says people in neighboring communities have opened their homes to welcome evacuees.
Nice.
These kids from the Cree community of Ujabougamau are among more than 200 people staying at this college after their community was evacuated.
There was smoke, and some of the young people were getting sick.
I'm worried.
Wow. It's good that different places around Canada are opening their doors. Like, Canada really is a community in that way. It's honestly what I would have expected, but it's good to see lots of people opening their doors to people who need a place to stay.
I'm worried about the infrastructure, the homes, the houses that are there, because this is a place that we call home.
Wildfires have burned nearly 4 million hectares across the country.
Look at this. Cameron Lake, British Columbia. Like, these images, like, they are disturbing.
Forcing more than 20,000 people from their homes. The federal government says it's the worst season Canada has seen.
There are hundreds of armed forces members now deployed. Additionally, the CAF is helping with everything from delivering food and supplies to people in Mingani, Quebec, to providing logistics support.
In Quebec.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of support you can actually provide. Like, sounds like a lot of food and supplies for living, that's good, are being delivered. Maybe people helping evacuate certain areas and close off areas. But I'm just thinking, as for combating the actual fires themselves, what can you do, really? I think you fly by with planes and drop water, or maybe sand, probably water, on top of it. I don't know if firefighters can actually go out there with fire trucks and try to spray it. Does that really do anything? It's just an impossibly bad situation.
Back, dry conditions and lightning sparked 100 fires with...
Wait, what?
Logistics support.
In Quebec, dry conditions and lightning sparked 100 fires.
Lightning? Lightning. Is that how some of this is going? How it's starting? Lightning. Super dry conditions and lightning. Oh, it's literally nature. Like, what can you do?
With more added every day, some from human activity. Rain has helped in some areas, but in others, fires are still out of control.
With the manpower we have, we can fight about 40 fires at the same time, but we have 150 fires.
That's why communities from across Canada are getting extra help from the armed forces and firefighters from other countries, including the US, New Zealand, and France.
Wow, there's a lot of countries around the world sending aid to this. That's fantastic. And this also happens to answer my other question of, can you just point a giant water gun at it and try to shoot the flames? Yes, you can do that, which is good.
In Nova Scotia, weather conditions and firefighting have helped control the largest wildfire in the province's history. Officials say it's no longer likely to spread.
Wow, in Nova Scotia, like every part of Canada is having this problem. I had just heard Quebec, honestly, in the small amount of news I had heard. So this is shocking to me.
In the Northwest Territories, residents can now return to the Katlo-Deche First Nation, where homes and the band council office were destroyed.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating to see, but it was mostly the homes that, it was basically burned to nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Like, it seems to mostly be forests, but there's literally people's homes burning to the ground.
And as they focus on rebuilding, they're still on the watch for more fires. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Scary.
CBC News senior meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff is with us now. So, Joe, looking forward, what does tomorrow hold?
Yeah, Adrian, unfortunately, a couple of factors line up that could make tomorrow morning the worst air quality day yet.
Oh, the worst air quality day. I thought they were going to say the worst, day for fires. Sounds like the whole summer is just bad. The whole season is just bad for fires, which is really, I don't know. Disappointing is not the right word, because there's really nothing you can do about it. It's just unfortunate news that this could continue.
Line up that could make tomorrow morning.
And the fact that they're talking about is the air pollution problem with the smoke and everything in the smoke could get worse, which is a whole other thing.
The west around the Golden Horseshoe. So first of all, I want to take you back to the fire smoke dispersion map. Not only does this track low level and upper level winds, but it also tracks the plumes of smoke themselves that are ejected from those source fires in Quebec. And
that is insane how much fire is going on to create a cloud of smoke this big that is covering Canada and the United States. Like a humongous part of it.
Often we see those biggest plumes coming in the afternoon during the daytime heating. That happens to line up with a slight shift in winds, bringing the most dense smoke over the city of Toronto tomorrow morning.
You're literally at the whim of wind currents, and when they're going to bring out the smoke.
Unfortunately, that means that we're not through the worst of it yet. Eventually, Adrian, that plume of smoke will be carried southward tomorrow afternoon, right back into New York.
Right.
Okay, to that point, how long are we expecting this to stick around?
Yeah.
It's really about the need for a big shift in winds and a lot of mixing. And over the weekend, we're going to see winds ease, but I think we need a big system to really mix out all of this smoke in the lower levels. That's not coming.
What does that mean? Mix out the smoke? Mixing. I understand that we're all praying for the wind god to blow this wind somewhere else. But I'm not sure what the mixing means or what that solution is.
Until Sunday into Monday. Then we get a big system that will bring some rain and a complete reversal in winds. That does mean we do have to wait a few more days before thousands, if not millions, are breathing clean air again.
Jeez.
Monday, it looks like.
All right, Johanna Wagstaff.
Monday. So a few days to go. And there's a little bit of hope on the horizon, maybe. Is that wishful thinking? Or is it possibly just accurate thinking? I hope so. I really, really hope that's accurate. Really do. Because that's the first thing so far that's had a little bit of optimism and positivity. Is that maybe the wind will change and other stuff like that. Okay. And finally here, we have a little bit of coverage about good old the United States and New York City, and some of those places have been affected, which I've been hearing a lot about.
And obviously, that smoke doesn't recognize national borders. Right now, some 90 million Americans across 16 states, from Texas to Vermont, are...
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. Obviously, this is changing like very fast, even as the days go by. But I didn't know like up to 16 states in America could be affected by smoke, basically mostly originating from Quebec. That is unbelievable.
Under smoke alerts, but nowhere is it worse than New York, where
Yeah.
smoke and neon have combined to create a bit of an eerie glow.
Smoke and neon have mixed? Look at this.
Strange.
This is what I was seeing a lot of. This creepy, weird, smoky glow in New York City. I've been seeing a lot of pictures like this. It's unbelievable.
Strange skies over Times Square and across the city. Famous
Yeah.
landmarks in framed, thick, glowing haze. From the Roosevelt Island tramway to an empty Yankee Stadium, the game...
Yeah, they're canceling like sports events, the baseball. There's people posting all these videos on all the social media of walking out in the smoke and how crazy it is.
The game canceled. Chris Reyes shows us the scene from across the Hudson River.
Wow.
Well, the smell is strong and the haze is
Wow.
thick, I'll tell you.
Wow. I mean, that's unbelievable. This image of how much haze and smoke there is. Like, it's like the apocalypse or something.
That I am in Weehawken, New Jersey on the Hudson River, and on a clear day you would be able to see the entire Manhattan skyline behind you,
Wow.
from the downtown core to Midtown. Sometimes you can even see the Empire State Building from here all the way to the Upper West Side.
Wow.
But as you can see, only faint outlines of the buildings because of how thick the haze is, and that's been
That is incredible in the worst way possible.
pretty much the conditions all day in and around New York City. Today, New York City ranked as having the worst air quality in the world, about twice as bad as Delhi.
New York City has the worst air quality on the planet. Not something I expected to hear. Not something I expected.
And Dubai, New York City's mayor, Eric Adams, warning residents to limit all outdoor activities. He said this is unprecedented, something New Yorkers have never seen before.
Yeah. Classic. Classic American. Classic New Yorker. Giant, otherworldly, scary, smoky haze enveloping the city. Gotta snap a picture. Gotta grab a pic for the Instagram.
Before, at some point today, LaGuardia Airport had to ground flights because of the visibility. And certainly from the looks of this skyline,
It's causing flights to be canceled. The visibility. This is just such a problem in so many ways. And you feel kind of helpless about it.
it's hard to tell when it's all going to clear up.
Yeah.
Chris Reyes, CBC News, New Jersey.
Okay. There you go. There you have it. Well, I feel a lot more educated now. I learned a couple of different ways the fires start and why it's been such a hot season, you could say. Such a record-setting wildfire season in Canada. And just the fact that there is so much of it, that it is going all through Canada and then into the United States, affecting so many millions of people. This is unprecedented. This is insane. And again, I'm glad to have actually put in a little effort and learn much more of the details about this, the possibility that some of it could start getting a little better, hopefully next week, hopefully. But again, my heart and my sympathies go out to anyone out there affected by this. And I don't know, this is just one of those times where you feel a little helpless and all you can do is come together as a community to feel like you have some form of control over the situation, because that is the one thing you can control, right? How you respond to situations like this. So hopefully there's a positive outlook in the near future. Anyway, that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture and just stuff about Canada that I've never learned about or heard about before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.